The camera's red light glowed, a relentless cyclops eye staring down Shekinah and Sarper. They sat on a plush, oversized sofa, the kind designed to swallow anxieties and project an image of blissful domesticity. Instead, it merely highlighted the subtle tension in their posture, the way Sarper's knee bounced almost imperceptibly, and Shekinah's perfectly coiffed hair seemed to bristle with an unvoiced agitation. "So, Shekinah, Sarper," Sarah Fraser's voice, a familiar blend of genuine curiosity and the practiced casualness of a seasoned interviewer, filled the studio. "The rumors have been swirling since the tell-all. Divorce. Is it true?" Sarper cleared his throat, his gaze flickering from Sarah to Shekinah, then back to Sarah. "We're happy. We try to be happy," he began, his Turkish accent still thick, adding a certain melodic quality to his careful words. He gestured vaguely with one hand. "Getting married. It's a difficult thing, you know. Many things to learn. Many things to do." He paused, searching for the right words. "We are trying our best. We have problems, yes, many ups and downs. But we still love each other." A beat of silence. "I hope she loves me." Shekinah offered a tight smile, her eyes darting to Sarper, a hint of something unreadable, exasperation, affection, both, in their depths. "He hopes I love him," she repeated, a dry humor in her tone that belied the underlying seriousness. "Look, the truth is, neither of us really wanted to get married. Sarper's been married before. We were perfectly happy just being together. We thought we could live forever happy together without having that commitment, without a piece of paper." She leaned forward slightly, her voice dropping conspiratorially. "But then, the K-1 visa, it became this necessity, this obstacle we had to overcome. And honestly, it scared both of us. The idea of it all. So we had a betting. It was the least scary place for us. It felt natural, I guess. Less like a courthouse, more like us." Sarper nodded, a flicker of a smile touching his lips at the mention of their unconventional nuptials. "Yes, the betting. It was romantic for us. Different. Like our relationship. Their journey as fans of 90 Day Fiancé. The other way new had been anything but conventional. It began with Sarper, the self-proclaimed bad boy of Istanbul, known for his modeling, his fitness, and his rather candid admissions about his past dalliances. Shekinah, the aesthetically minded American, was drawn to his charisma, his physique, and perhaps the thrill of taming the wild. He'd shed his old ways, or so he claimed for her. He'd embraced a more stable, less chaotic life. But the transition hadn't been seamless. The distance, the cultural differences, and their own deeply ingrained personalities created a constant friction. Shekinah, ever the pragmatist, had been flying back and forth between Los Angeles and Istanbul, a grueling and expensive odyssey. "It was getting ridiculous," she explained to Sarah. "The flights, the hotels, the time difference. And Sarper, his work, you know, with the female clients, it was a constant source of tension." Sarper grimaced. "Shekinah, she didn't like it," he admitted, rubbing his chin. "But I have to work. And her flights, her expenses in Turkey. I wanted to pay for them, but it was hard. Very hard." He'd struggled, his income as a fitness model and personal trainer not always aligning with Shekinah's expectations of his financial contribution to their transatlantic romance. She, on the other hand, while wanting him to be financially independent, also expected him to cover her costs when she visited. It was a delicate dance of expectations and realities. Eventually, the logical, albeit daunting, solution presented itself. Sarper would move to America. The K-1 visa, the marriage they both initially resisted, became the conduit. But even that was fraught with peril. Sarper had developed cold feet more than once, almost giving up on the process entirely. The idea of leaving his life, his family, his independence behind, was a heavy burden. "I didn't like being dependent on Shekinah," Sarper confessed, his voice tinged with a familiar frustration. In Turkey, I was my own man. Here, everything is new. It takes time to build everything again. But now, months into their American life, things seem to be shifting. Sarper, with Shekinah's undeniable encouragement, and at times, relentless prodding, was finally finding his footing. He'd started doing stand-up comedy shows, his self-deprecating humor about his American experiences, and the quirks of his relationship with Shekinah proving surprisingly popular. He was also conducting fitness workshops, leveraging his expertise and building his own client base. The craving for independence, so palpable in his earlier days in the U.S., was slowly being satisfied. He's getting there, Shekinah said, a touch of pride in her voice. It's been a long road. We've always had arguments, even from the beginning. We almost broke up so many times. People see the edited versions, but the reality is, it's a constant negotiation. Sarah, ever the astute interviewer, pressed, Sarper, you mentioned problems, ups and downs, but you haven't really delved into what those problems are. Beyond the financial aspects, beyond the visa struggles, what are the core issues you're facing in your marriage? Sarper hesitated, his gaze drifting to a point beyond the camera. It's many things, he began carefully. Sometimes it's communication. We speak different languages, not just words, but how we express ourselves. Shekinah, she is very direct. I am more. Maybe I hold things inside. And then they explode. He offered a rueful smile. And then there is trust. From the past, my past, her past. It's always there, lurking. Shekinah nodded slowly. Trust is a big one. And expectations. We both came into this with certain ideas, and sometimes they clash. My idea of a husband, his idea of a wife. They're not always aligned. We're constantly learning each other, even now. Our take on Sarper and Shekinah possibly still having marriage problems. It's no surprise that Shekinah and Sarper continue to face marriage problems. Their relationship has always been a tempestuous blend of intense attraction and fundamental differences. From the outset, their individual desires clashed. Shekinah's need for control and perfection against Sarper's desire for freedom and his bad boy past. Their initial reluctance to marry, their unorthodox bedding ceremony, and the sheer logistical hurdles they overcame to be together all point to a couple who, despite their deep feelings, are fundamentally mismatched in many ways. The K-1 visa, while a catalyst for their union, also forced them into a commitment they both admit they weren't ready for. This underlying current of obligation, rather than unbridled desire, likely contributes to their ongoing struggles. Sarper's long-standing desire for independence, now being somewhat fulfilled by his stand-up and fitness ventures, may ironically create new friction as he asserts himself more. Shekinah, accustomed to being the more dominant figure in their dynamic, may find this shift challenging. Their communication issues, cultural differences, and lingering trust issues, particularly surrounding Sarper's past interactions with other women and Shekinah's intense scrutiny, are deep-seated and not easily resolved. The constant presence of reality television cameras, while providing them a platform, also undoubtedly adds immense pressure to an already fragile dynamic, forcing them to confront their issues in a highly public forum. What's next for Sarper and Shekinah on 90 Day Fiancé? The revelation that Sarper and Shekinah are slated to appear in 90 Day. The Last Resort Season 3 comes as little surprise. Their current admission of ups and downs and continued problems points to issues that clearly transcend the typical marital squabbles seen on 90 Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After. The Last Resort is designed for couples teetering on the brink, those whose problems are severe enough to warrant intensive guided therapy. This suggests that their struggles are more profound than what they've publicly disclosed, or at least that they haven't found a way to resolve them on their own. Their participation in The Last Resort indicates a desperate attempt to salvage their marriage. The format of the show, with its focus on group and individual therapy, workshops, and intensive counseling, will force them to confront their core issues head-on. This could be a make-or-break moment for them. What might still be holding them together is a complex mix of genuine affection, the significant investment they've already made in their relationship, relocation, visa process, public scrutiny, and perhaps a fear of failure or starting over. The show will likely delve into Sarper's struggle with independence versus dependence, Shekinah's trust issues and desire for control, and their fundamental communication styles. Hopefully, the structured environment and professional guidance will provide them with the tools and insights necessary to navigate their complex life together after 90-Day Fiancé Season 11. Whether therapy can bridge the deep chasm of their differences, or if it will ultimately lead them to the conclusion that their paths are better suited apart, remains to be seen. Their journey is far from over, and the last resort will be the ultimate test of their commitment to each other.